Hi guys, it's Lynn here. Hope you're all keeping really safe and well. Now today guys, I'm going to be repotting my big agave. And this particular agave has been absolutely desperate for a repot for so long guys. And we actually started to film taking it out of the pot, but it was so root bound. Look at this. I actually had to get Hans to actually help me to cut open the pot, so we had to stop the film and get it out the pot and show you it from now on. I mean, look at that, it was so root bound. I'm quite ashamed actually. I didn't notice it at the time, but I knew that it was desperate to be repotted. And when we got it out the pot, look at that guys. It is unbelievably desperate for a repot. So I got my wonderful fiance Hans, who is behind the camera filming me today, to help me get it out the pot, obviously. So do go over and give Hansi give him a big thumbs up on this video, and also please go over and subscribe to Hansi's amazing YouTube channel, Family of Cacti and Other Beauties. Links up above. So Hansi's filming me, so that's fantastic. And also don't forget to subscribe to me too. So this is going to be a bit of a funny repotting video. So it's going to be a little bit easier than normal because I've obviously already got it out the pot, and I put the soil in the bottom there in its bigger pot, good 2 to 3 inches more at the bottom. Now I have made a care video on how to grow agave in a cold climate. Now those of you know that we live here in Ireland, in Northern Ireland, and it's cold and wet. In the winter times we don't get very cold temperatures, but we do get a lot of rain. So we do know other growers that would grow these in both here in Ireland and also in England, particularly the south of England, outdoors all year in a sheltered position. But we're not able to do that. But you can actually grow these in a cold climate if you have a few things to take care of. And do watch that video if you want to know how to grow agave in a cold climate. And I share all my care tips on there. Links to that video up above. And as it's springtime, I'm giving it a good repot. As I have to say, I'm quite ashamed to say the last time I repotted this was some years ago. So that's why it's so desperate. It has a fantastic root system on it, obviously, as you can see there. And what I've done, the next size up with the pot, I've used a mix of a little bit more of a soil extra in this one, because obviously agave, they do need a very well draining soil, but we're using a bit of a different soil to what we'd normally use with our cacti that are more rock prone. Agave can take a lot sort of more moisture in the summer as long as you keep them dry during the winter time and away from excess rain, humidity and frosts. And what I've done, I've used a loam based soil, about 40% loam. In this case I've used John Innes number 2, and I've used 10% sharp horticultural sand added to it. The John Innes that we use actually has extra sand as well and grit to it, so it's very gritty. And then we've used 50% grit as well, so it's a very gritty mix, as you can see here. Very, very gritty, but different to what we'd use for some of our specialised cacti where we'd use more extra grit again. So that's it. So this is going to be very well draining. So it's going to be kept outside here in our yard during the spring and summer months, so it can take plenty of rain. And then we overwinter it then in our polytunnel over the winter time, so it's kept cool and dry. And as I say, do watch the video on how to care for agave in a cold climate. And if you live in a lovely warm arid climate, then lucky you. Maybe you could share your tips as well on here. So here we go, very carefully. Now what I normally recommend doing when I repot plants on is to gently loosen up the root system. As you can see, I'm not going to touch this. The roots aren't overly tied up anyway. You can see there's lots of grit and perlite from the previous repotting in their well drained soil mix. I'm just going to be very careful with this because I don't want to disturb it, but gently placing that then in here. And yeah, I know I'm not wearing gloves guys, but I can handle this okay without any gloves or cardboard or anything like that. And I've just put it up to quite a bit of a bigger size pot, but not too large, because putting it into too big of a pot, you don't want to, let's see what Hans just straighten it and make sure it's centralised here. Not the most easiest thing to repot. And there we go, put that in there. I'm going to use a big scoop. As I say, a soil mix of loam, grit, sand in here. So it's very well draining. And I normally like not to water for about a week after I repot. Now this is in our yard, and we've had really good weather lately here the past few weeks, but I'm going to keep it out in the yard, and if we get any rain I'm just going to bring it into the polytunnel just until it's acclimatised to its new pot, and then it can take pretty much good rain, as long as it's sort of like all succulents. Agave is no different. They like to dry out in between waterings, so this will stay out in our yard all through the spring and summer, as long as it doesn't rain overly too much. As I say, I'm not putting it up into a big, much bigger pot as such, so it's not going to be a problem. And by the way, guys, if any of you know what type of agave this is, when I bought this absolutely years ago now, when I lived in Sligo, from a little garden centre there, and it was just labelled as agave. It was tiny, in fact it was half the size of the pup growing at the side here. But I didn't know, I thought it was probably agave Americana, but I'm not quite sure, to be honest. So if any of you are able to ID, I have checked online, but so many look similar. And what's amazing with agaves, they only flower once in their lifetime, the main mother plant. Once they flower, they die. The mother plant dies. But the pups, it forms loads of pups all around it, and the pups continue to live on. So it might be a long time before this one flowers. They usually have to be quite a great age before they flower. And if you want to see what agaves look like when they're having their terminal flower spike, then links up above to a video I made when I was in Dublin at the Belfast Botanic Gardens, when they had their amazing big agave there coming to terminal flower. It was absolutely amazing, and when it died, it had a load of pups left at the base. They were able to carry on from the mother plant then. There we go. Just going to make sure all the other roots are all covered. What I'm going to be doing is just very gently tapping that in, so it's all going down the side, just to make sure that the soil has gone all the way down there. And gorgeous old agave. So this is a young one compared to how long they can live. And if this one flowers in the future, it'd be absolutely amazing. Got quite a few agaves. Some we've got very small little agaves, quite a few different varieties. Most of the small ones are all kept in our polytunnel in the spring and summer because they're still young plants. But we have another an agave filifera, and we also have an agave, another one over there, not quite sure of that one. It's like a variegated form as well. That's pretty much it. Make sure that's all done. Hans are doing a great job filming there. So there we go. That's that all done. That can do. And so I'll keep this dry now for about 10 days before giving it a bit of water. But as it's going out in our yard, once it gets the first rainfall, then I'll make sure it dries out in between. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want to learn a little bit more on how to grow cacti and succulents and you're new to the hobby, please do check out my website, desertplantsofavalon.com, and don't forget to check out the video on how to grow agave in a cold climate, and also the video on the agave in terminal flower spike at Dublin Botanic Gardens. And I want to send you loads of love, heaps of happiness, and tons of plant power from across the Emerald Isle. And until my next video, bye. Bye. Thanks for repotting me. I was absolutely desperate.